Hey, what's up, guys? It's Cody Deal here at Comic-Con, celebrity host for MediaBoulevard.com, and I have the great fortunate opportunity to be sitting across Jane Espenson.
My claim to fame.
That's a good way to put it.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Wrote a little bit of Angel, a little bit of Firefly, a little bit of Dollhouse, Battlestar Galactica, Caprica. Wrote a Game of Thrones, and now Torchwood.
Nice, nice. So you're pretty much known for like the sci-fi, the drama, those types of things. Now you're starting to write a new web series called Husbands. The flip to comedy, is that something that's different for you?
Actually, a lot of people don't know this, that I started in comedy. My first 5 seasons of television were sitcoms. I wrote on Dinosaurs, one with the big handsome puppets, and I wrote for the last season of Ellen after she was out. And then even in more recent years, I wrote on a show called Jake in Progress and a show called Andy Barker P.I., which was the Andy Richter half-hour comedy. So I actually come out of comedy and consider myself a joke writer. I consider that one of the primary things I do. So when we got this idea, when Cheeks came to me, my friend Cheeks came to me with this idea about a half-hour comedy, I felt like, yes, I can do that with you. I know how to do that. I know how to write jokes. I know how to craft a comedy. So let's give it a try.
What's the show's premise of Husbands? And you guys are starting Principal's photography. It hasn't even started. It starts August 6th.
That's right. 2 weeks we start shooting. We're going to shoot the first 2 weekends in August. And I can't wait. I feel like the script is in place. Everything's ready. We got our stars. We got our locations. Everything's fantastic.
You have to tell me why. Why did you? Because you've executive produced for a lot of networks and shows like that. Why did you decide to do this half-hour web series as a web series?
Right. And also, I forgot to answer. What's the story about?
Sure. Yeah.
The story is that up until now, it's only been straight couples that could wake up married in Vegas and realize what the heck did we do. And so our show is set in a world where there's been a new marriage equality law. These 2 guys have been dating for 6 weeks. They like each other, but they don't know each other that well yet. Go to Vegas, celebrate the new law, wake up married in Vegas. Don't want to be a big, high-profile gay divorce. Makes the cause look terrible. So they're like, okay, we like each other. Let's stick this out. Let's see if we can make this work. So it's sort of Mad About You with 2 guys, or Dharma and Greg with 2 guys, where it's the typical newlywed humor, but with guys. And it just seemed right. It seems like a show that is going to exist. A network will do the show. They will call it Husbands. I just want to do it my way first. And that's why we did it for the web. So
you feel that you would actually have a little bit more flexibility and control of the material?
A lot more control. Yeah, essentially, I'm executive producing it. Cheeks and I co-wrote the script. I got to pick my cast, pick my director, pick everyone involved. I've got Shauna Turbick, who was the costume designer on Dr. Horrible and Torchwood, doing my costumes. I've got best hair woman, Kay Sarrazin's doing hair. I'm getting top flight people, getting to do it exactly how I want, because the money's coming from my pocket. So it's like I get to say, no, I want this one, I don't want that one. And you might think that being executive producer of a great big television show would be more control, but it's less control. You've got all those layers above you. Working on something like this, I really feel like I can do the show exactly as I want, say exactly what I want, and get it in sort of its perfect little form on the web, and then I can point at it and go like, okay, this is how I see it.
It's, does this relate to all audiences? I mean, is this a film that, a series that's going to be relatable for everyone? And as well, is the intention of a web series to always keep it as a web series?
I think it would work beautifully as a continued web series. I also think I made a real effort. This was part of our idea from the start, to make this, yes, absolutely accessible for everyone. A kid could watch this. Anyone who could watch Mad About You could watch this. And the humor isn't all like, look at the big gay situation. The humor is, look at the newlywed situation. It happens to be 2 guys. They're going to face some different challenges, many of the same challenges as any new couple. It's sort of legislation has brought them to this place, but it is just human nature that takes them forward from here. So I would think anyone could watch this. Anyone who has been married or has ever seen a marriage would, I think, get the humor of the situation. And sure, it could continue living as a web series, but because it is so accessible, so mainstream in a way, we kept thinking NBC as we were writing it. We kept thinking this is a classic must-see TV NBC comedy. We could see if that lineup was still there, you know, with Friends, and put it right there in the middle, and it would fit in that must-see TV lineup.
Do you think, being a creator of the web series, that once it goes to a network, if it does, say NBC or something along those lines, do you feel as the executive producer you're gonna have more control of your baby?
Yeah, I think if this went somewhere, which would be lovely. Yeah, I like to think that because I had fashioned the original creation, that there would be more of a sense of control of it. But you know what, NBC, if you want to give me a bunch of money and take away some of the control, we can talk.
Very nice, very nice. Now, your cast members, there's 3 stars. There was another lady that you also executive produced for which show?
Alessandra Torresani was our star on Caprica. She was Zoe, the girl trapped in the robot, and she's fantastic. She has comic chops like you wouldn't believe. This girl is Betty Hutton or Judy Holliday. She is a vintage comedy star. She cannot help but be funny in that wonderful, ditzy, and yet shockingly incisive way that those great stars were. That great sort of vintage 30s, 40s comedy madcap girl. She's in the mix. She plays Cheek's best friend, who's not entirely sure she's on board with him being married to someone else. So, like, how does she sort of keep floating off the earth if he's married to someone else? And we have a great new discovery as Brady, our professional baseball player, who finds himself married to Cheeks, in Sean Hamian, who, after a long, exhausting talent search, we found Sean, and he's fantastic.
Are we going to see Cheeks single for a little bit, and then have this Vegas experience, and then are we going to see the baseball player? Is this like maybe the first time he's come out as gay and has to address his fans this way?
We're actually playing that the baseball player Brady has been out for about a year, so he's still struggling with like he's the first out baseball player who's still playing, and he's dealing with like how do I present myself to the fans? How do I deal with the media in this new situation? But we start our show the morning they wake up married. So we get all that as backstory. And if we end up doing more episodes of this, that's the kind of thing where we would definitely plan on doing flashbacks to here's Cheeks' life before they got married, here's Brady's life before they got married. Because there's a lot of humor to be mined there that we didn't get to do in this first 22 minutes, but we wanted to cut right to the heart of here they are, here's their situation, and then fill in who they are as we go.
Very awesome. And what's the premiere date? When can we expect to see the first episode?
We think we're looking at September 13th. We're still, some come up soon.
Yeah.
We're still researching. Do people want all their new media coming in at the same time, all the new fall TV shows premiering, and us in the mix as if we're another show? We're just online at husbandstheseries.com, or should we step out of that arena and let the fall TV shows all come and go, and then into the vacuum after that steps us? We're just worried if we wait too long, we start hitting the holiday season, and then it all goes to hell.
Moving on to kind of your writing, you've written a lot. And, for a lot of different series, do you ever feel challenged? Do you ever, you have such a creative imagination writing for the shows that you write for. I'm just admired by how you can be such a great writer for all those TV shows. Thank you.
Yeah, I've just really been lucky. I've gotten to work on this series of amazing shows. And when I've been challenged, the one time I found hardest was when I was working on a show that was procedural, meaning it was we investigate this crime, and so it was really driven by the story, and that I found very hard because I tend to think about scenes more than the structure of an overall like an investigation where it has to be this leads to this leads to this leads to this. I'd rather let a story sort of flow. The character takes us here and there and there. So that's the one thing I found really challenging. But I continue to to get on shows that I love. If it's a show that you would want to watch, I think it's a show you can write. So right now I'm working on a show called Once Upon a Time that's going to premiere October 23rd on ABC, and it's this sort of mashup of Disney and fairy tales and modern normal life all put together in this fantastic package. And this is like, once again, I feel like, ooh, I won the lottery again. I'm on another good show that I love. So that and Torchwood going on, and Husbands, like, I've got 3 projects right now, sort of all going, and I'm in love with all of them.
And do you ever feel, how do you multitask those projects?
How do I multitask?
Or juggle
I just
them.
do. You have to. People always ask me, what's the cure for writer's block? And I go, a deadline. Like, you can't wait until you're in the mood if the script's due tomorrow. So one of the things that I do is to sort of keep yourself going when you're too tired to keep going, is I do what I call writing sprints. And I sort of put these up on Twitter. If I know I need to work for the next hour and I can't have any interruptions doing it, I'll go on Twitter and say, I'm going to work from 4 to 5 without interruptions. Anyone out there who also has a project you need to do, work along with me. And this has been hugely popular. Like, people are getting stuff done because they're just stepping away from the computer for just 1 hour. And you realize how rarely that happens these days. Get a huge amount done.
Madly interested in Game of Thrones. You wrote an episode with them.
It was crazy and it was wonderful. It was unlike anything I've ever written before, where the source material not only existed, but that we were sticking closely to it. So often when you're adapting something, you're like, well, this is our starting point, and then you sort of go off in a big curlicue and you end up way over here. This one we actually stuck with the book. So I was sort of assigned page numbers, like 173 to 215 or whatever it was, until like that's the chunk of the book that you're writing. So one of the first things that I did was just actually transcribe all the dialogue from those pages.
Wow.
So because I wanted to keep as much as possible of George R.R. Martin's wonderful writing. So I sort of, even bits of stage direction, I took directly from the book. Like, I can't describe this any better than he did. I'm just going to use his language.
Well, you make it sound very easy that you just copy and paste it, but I'm sure it entailed a lot more than that.
It wasn't quite that easy.
Can we expect you back to write a few more episodes?
Oh, I hope so. I would
good.
love to. I love to write for them again. Benny and Weiss are the showrunners there. They're geniuses, and they were so kind to me, and I would love to work with them again.
Wow. You know, I've interviewed a lot of executive producers here at Comic-Con, and it sounds like a pretty flashy title. Do you guys actually do as much as we think you do?
Oh my God, executive producers do more than you think they do. Running a show, I talked to someone last night who said it's a 5-person job, and I think that's exactly right. It takes 5 people to run a show, and often it's only one person doing it. Showrunners don't sleep. Almost every showrunner I've ever known has some sort of gastrointestinal tract problem as a result of being a showrunner. It's exhausting. It's awful. Caprica's the only show that I've actually run on my own, and it almost killed me. It's too hard of a job. So I'm very happy that now for instance, I'm consulting producer on Once Upon a Time. So I'm not running it. Kitsis and Horowitz, who created it, are running it, and they're genius. Russell Davis runs Torchwood, so I work for him. Husbands I am running on my own, but it's a crew of 25 people, not 250 people. So it's a lot more contained, a lot easier to do.
What about Torchwood? You've written several episodes for them. How did you get involved with that project?
I got involved with Torchwood in the most wonderful way, which is that I got an invitation. Russell and Julie, who are in charge over at Torchwood, Russell Davis and Julie Gardner, were fans of Buffy, and had also, Russell was a fan of a book written by a dear friend of mine, and so, like, just through various connections, Russell and Julie wanted to meet me. We had a lunch. Shortly thereafter, I got a phone call saying, like, would you like to come write on Torchwood? And I jumped at the chance. My agent actually was like hanging up the phone, like, I know you're really tired after Caprica, I know you want a break. And I was like, no, wait, Torchwood, no, yes, I want to do Torchwood. Where do I have to be when? And so I started going into work at BBC Worldwide, which it turns out is walking distance from my apartment. It's like, this job was just a dream job in every possible way.
Wow.
And started sitting with Russell and Julie, and we brought in some more American writers, and some of the Welsh writers and the UK writers came over, and we sort of made this little multicultural group, and we started working out this story with Russell, and it just turned into Torchwood Miracle Day.
Well, thank you so much for your time,
Thank
Jane.
you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
And we look forward to seeing the series.
Thank you. Yay.
Bye-bye.